Namaskar and welcome to Express News. Let's begin. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon attended the inaugural session of the Raisina Dialogue 2025 held in New Delhi on Monday. It is India's flagship annual conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics. New Zealand's Prime Minister Luxon was the chief guest of the Raisina Dialogue and also delivered the keynote address at the event. Earlier, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Luxon, called on President of India, Draupadi Murmu, at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Welcoming Prime Minister Luxon, the President said that India and New Zealand have close and friendly relations. PM Modi held talks with his New Zealand counterpart at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi on Monday. Both leaders discussed various aspects of India-New Zealand relations. Prime Minister Modi and his New Zealand counterpart also held delegation-level talks. Luxon's visit aims at strengthening bilateral relationship between both the countries. The leaders also witnessed an exchange of MOUs, and this is on sports, horticulture, defence, a letter of intent on forestry, an agreement on customs, and exchange on education. During a joint press agreement, joining a press statement with New Zealand's Prime Minister Luxon, Prime Minister Modi said that India and New Zealand support an open, free, secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister Luxon said that New Zealand needs a stronger presence in India and has announced, in fact, plans to increase his diplomatic footprint by over 60%. Earlier, New Zealand's Prime Minister Luxon laid a wreath at Rajghat and paid tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. He arrived in New Delhi on Sunday on a 5-day visit to India. As part of the Raisina 2025 engagements, the External Affairs Minister of India, Jai Shankar, met the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Tanja Fajon of Slovenia. The Indian minister appreciated her assessment as the current UN Security Council member on global challenges. India's EOM also met the Swedish Foreign Minister Maria M. Stenagard. They held discussions on deepening India's engagement with the EU. EM Jai Shankar also met the Ghana Foreign Minister Sam Okudzeto Ablakwa. The leaders explored opportunities to further develop the relationship and South-South cooperation. India hosted the India-Europe Business Exchange in New Delhi. It aims to expand the bilateral trade opportunities between the two sides. India's Finance Minister Sitharaman launched a mobile app for the Prime Minister's internship scheme in New Delhi on Monday. The US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, met India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi on Monday. Both leaders emphasized that strategic security remains a vital pillar of the comprehensive global strategic cooperation between the two countries. In a podcast interview with the AI researcher and US-based podcaster Lex Fridman, the Prime Minister Modi, threw light on his bond with US President Donald Trump. US President Donald Trump has shared the link of the Prime Minister's podcast with Lex Fridman on his social media handle, Truth Social. India is hosting a Quad workshop on pandemic preparedness with the Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Anupriya Patel, inaugurating the workshop in New Delhi on Monday. Om Birla, who is the Speaker of the Lower House in the Indian Parliament, the Lok Sabha, hosted a parliamentary delegation from Vietnam in New Delhi on Monday. The Indian equity indices ended on a strong note. The Sensex was up 341 points at 74,170. The Nifty up 112 points at 22,509. The Indian rupee ended 21 paise higher at 86.79 per dollar on Monday. Gold futures maturing on April 4 were priced at 88,022 per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for May 5 maturity stood at rupees 1,597 per kg on the MCX. Mobile phone exports from India crossed $21 billion in the first 11 months of 2024-25, higher than the projection of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And the Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, had estimated exports would touch $20 billion. Global crude oil prices traded higher on Monday after the US vowed to keep attacking Houthis until the rebel group ends its assaults on shipping. The European shares were largely unchanged on Monday. Investors started the new trading week with caution around the escalating trade war. The Bank of England is likely to keep interest rates on hold on Thursday, sticking to its mantra of only gradual moving ahead. The finance ministers of the Group of 7 nations are meeting virtually on Monday. It was announced by the Canadian Finance Minister, François-Philippe Champagne. Hikers attempting any of Mount Fuji's 4 main trails are going to be charged an entry fee of 4,000 yen, that's about $27 from this summer, after local authorities passed a bill on Monday. With the aim of discussing the Russia-Ukraine conflict extensively, the foreign ministers of the European Union met in Brussels on Monday. Ahead of the meet, the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said that conditions demanded by Russia to agree to a ceasefire in the conflict with Ukraine show that Moscow does not really want peace. US President Donald Trump said that he plans to speak to the Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. He termed the forthcoming talks a good chance to end the 3-year-old conflict. Russia has underscored its demand that Ukraine be excluded from NATO membership and maintain a neutral stance in any prospective peace agreement. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appointed Major General Andrei Khanatov as Ukraine's chief of the General Staff. Lithuania on Sunday backed a European Union pledge. It's a proposal to pledge up to 40 billion euros in military aid for Ukraine this year. The US has deported over 200 Venezuelans from the United States to a prison in El Salvador amid legal and human rights concerns. During a late flight back to Washington area from Florida, the US President Trump said that these gangs are very bad people. Donald Trump confirmed that reciprocal tariffs, including duties on automobiles, will be imposed starting April 2nd, and they'll apply to both friends and foes. Trump's administration began mass layoffs at the Voice of America and other US-funded media outlets, signaling a move to cut services critical to US's influence globally. A fire in a North Macedonia nightclub left at least 59 people dead. The injured were brought to Bulgaria for treatment on Sunday. North Macedonia's Prime Minister said an investigation into the nightclub fire had found that the club's license was not legitimate. Authorities have arrested about 20 people in connection with the fire. Leaders of the bordering countries as well as the European Union offered condolences and support. Canada's newly appointed Prime Minister Mark Carney met the French President Macron on Monday during his first international trip. 6 people are dead in an expressway bridge collapse in Bangkok's Thailand that occurred during the construction phase of the bridge. In Brazil, thousands of supporters of the former President Jair Bolsonaro gathered in Rio de Janeiro. They are demanding amnesty for those involved in the January 8, 2023 riots. Human rights activists marched near the presidential palace in Manila on Monday to urge the Filipino government to rejoin the International Criminal Court following the former President Duterte's trial in The Hague. In Congo, the M23 rebels said on Monday they would send a delegation to peace talks with the Democratic Republic of Congo's government that are expected to begin on Tuesday in Angola's capital. The US astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams, who are stuck for more than 9 months on the International Space Station, will be returning to Earth on Tuesday evening. The Vatican released the first image of Pope Francis in hospital since his treatment began for double pneumonia on February 14. Time for a break. You're watching Express News. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's resume. Weather news now. A severe weather system struck the U.S. over the weekend, claiming at least 36 lives due to tornadoes, strong winds and dust storms. U.S. President Trump said that he was monitoring the tornadoes and storms and announced the National Guard had been deployed in Arkansas and pledged help to state officials as well. Governor declared a state of emergency after at least 3 people were killed in central Alabama, where multiple tornadoes swept across the U.S. state. An oil spill in northwestern Ecuador had turned a river black, prompting authorities to declare an environmental emergency and order residents to ration drinking water. 2 ski mountaineers are in critical condition after being struck by an avalanche on Sunday near Fossella in the Italian Dolomites. Weekend temperatures in Greece spiked to a record high for March. Forecasters predict a significant drop in temperatures starting Tuesday. A German court resumed a landmark climate case on Monday, which was brought by the Peruvian farmer who's claimed that emissions from German energy giant RWE have contributed to the melting of the Andean glaciers. The temperatures has continued to remain low in India's union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This is after a recent spell of rainfall in the region. The India Meteorological Department, we are going to show you some visuals now live of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the National Intelligence of the United States. This meeting has taken place a short while ago. Tulsi Gabbard is a practicing Hindu and member of the Trump cabinet. India and the United States have a strategic partnership, a special strategic partnership for the world. It's a global strategic partnership. It's a special and global strategic partnership, and there is dialogue at various levels. There is intelligence sharing as well. Tulsi Gabbard has recently taken charge as the head of National Intelligence of the United States, which is in charge of both the CIA and the FBI. Now, the India Meteorological Department has issued a weather forecast warning of a heat wave and storm activity across the country over the coming days. The government of Nepal will host the Sagar Mata dialogue focusing on climate change and its impact on May 20th and 21st. The first Pink Trumpet Flower Festival is currently underway in Vietnam. It includes entertainment, cultural exchanges and local food. A 1-kilometer road lined with nearly 300 blooming pink trumpet trees were a stunning view on for visitors. The Panda-themed tourist train, an initiative originating from Sichuan, is now running to Yunnan, and this is in China. Thousands flocked to downtown Chicago. They are watching the city's river turn green on St. Patrick's Day. Since 1962, Chicago's local plumbers are using some non-toxic vegetable-based dye to make the river green. Cherry blossoms were in full bloom at a Tokyo aquarium, with the animals swimming and interacting amongst the pink flowers and delighting visitors. The aquarium was transformed into a Japanese-style garden with projections of flower petals filling the space, as pink fishes also swam in tanks decorated with cherry blossom branches. A diverse array of carnation varieties captivated audiences during Colombia's Dianthus Week. The annual floriculture it's a show. It showcases new varieties of carnation developed through techniques such as hybridization, as well as production methods utilized by the Colombian growers. Construction to restore the spire of St. Denis Basilica in Paris began on Friday, and the stone spire of the 12th century basilica was damaged in storms in the 1800s. Cramming into a hall in central London, retro video game fans, they were looking for bargains. This happens at the gaming market, and this is the 10th anniversary of this kind of an event. The bustling marketplace sees various specialist traders in fact stack their stalls high with nostalgic, rare and sometimes highly valuable bits of kit. A swirl of tango dancers brought rhythm and devotion outside Rome's Gemelli Hospital. They are paying tribute to Pope Francis. Spain's Valencia celebrated Falas festival with some giant figures, also known as ninots, which is the Valencian word for dolls. The giant figures, often made from wood, plaster and paper mache, have satirical themes, and they are scattered across the city before being set on fire. The Indian filmmaker Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine Is Light was awarded the best film at the 18th Asian Film Awards. Sahana Goswami, an Indian actress, was the best actress. Sandhya Suri was recognized as the best director for Santosh, and Goswami starred in that film. The best director went to Yoshida Diachi for the atmospheric character Teki Kamit, and Hong Kong's Sean Liu took home the Best Actor award for his performance in Papa. Disney hosted the premiere of the new version of Snow White in Los Angeles. It stars Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. The Emmy-winning comedy series Ted Lasso is returning to the pitch for the 4th season. An official trailer has been released for Brad Pitt's highly anticipated Formula One drama called F1. 4 new songs by Marianne Faithfull, who is an English singer best known for her 1960s hit As Tears Go By. She died earlier in the year. They are going to be released this summer. Walt Disney Pictures released the first look of the Freakier Friday. It's a sequel to the 2003 film Freaky Friday. The US singer Chappell Roan just dropped the lyric video of her new country track. It's called The Giver. Roan's last album, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, helped her to get a Grammy Award in 2024. A handful of fans of the late British singer Liam Payne, they unveiled a bench in Buenos Aires in his memory in the British cemetery there. Kolkata Knight Riders have named Seema Chetan Sakaria. He's going to take over from Umran Malik, who was injured in this year's season. Delhi Capitals have appointed Faf du Plessis, their former South African player, as the vice captain for this year's season. The Indian Masters have cruised to a 6-wicket win over the West Indies Masters. They won the inaugural International Masters League on Sunday. The International Olympic Committee Executive Board on Monday recommended the inclusion of boxing in the Los Angeles 2028 Summer Olympics. In tennis, Britain's Jack Draper roared past Denmark's Holger Rune 6-2, 6-2 and won his first ATP Masters 1000 title at Indian Wells on Monday. The Russian teenager Mira Andreeva overcame Arina Sabalenka 2-6, 6-4, 6-3 and won the women's final at Indian Wells. India excelled at the Special Olympics in the Winter Games 2025 in Torino with 33 medals including 8 gold, 18 silver and 7 bronze medals. The Australian teenager Gout showcased his remarkable sprinting skills. He ran the 200 meters in 19.98 seconds at Queensland State Championship on Sunday. Barcelona battled past Atletico Madrid them 2-4-2 in the La Liga on Sunday. They claimed the top spot in the points table. Manchester United earned a 3-0 win against struggling Leicester City in the Premier League on Sunday. Newcastle United ended their 70-year domestic trophy drought, beating Liverpool and winning the Carabao Cup at Wembley. Defending champion Jaipur Delta defeated Carousel Jindals 13-7, winning the North India Polo Championships in New Delhi on Sunday. China have included the Brazilian-born midfielder Serginho into their World Cup squad for the qualifiers. Bournemouth centre-back Dean Huijsen has received his first call for Spain after Barcelona's Inigo Martinez suffered an injury. Hockey India on Monday has named a 36-member core probable group for the senior men's national coaching camp in Bengaluru, which concludes on March 28. Thanks for watching Express News. Namaskar.